Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of Tony Talks right here on Instagram. We're live. I decided, I'm gonna do a little bit more live material. Everything is organic. Will you make will I make an OnlyFans? No. And if I were to make an OnlyFans, it probably would not contain the content that most people would be expecting. But it's Sunday, officially Sunday, here in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm enjoying Sunday. I'm here at the house, just chilling, being lazy. So I decided to come on live. I moved to Cleveland to DANNI_TAROC. How old am I? I am 43. I am 43. I'll be 44 October the 31st. But yeah, I'm 43. Wait, hold on. I got somebody. I'm trying to get it where I can request it. Okay, somebody wanted to go. Oh, hello? 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 Okay, I guess maybe that person is not online. Okay. So anyways, during this live broadcast, if anybody has a question, relationship, I am what I consider myself a relationship therapist, a relationship counselor, someone that can guide you through relationships. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It could be with your mother, it could be with your father, it could be with your sister, your brother. So if you have any of those type of questions, feel free to, try to make yourself known. If you want to come on and live and let's talk about it, that would make it more interesting live than just me sitting here talking to you. Let's do it. I'm all game. This is my ministry. As you guys know, I teach constellation mapping. Constellation mapping is the mapping of behaviors based on the constellation in which you're born. I know a lot of people think that I'm talking about astrology. They think I'm talking about horoscopes. They think I'm talking about the zodiac. The first thing they want to run to the birth charts, and they want to run online. Usually those people are the Aquarius, the Geminis, Libras, the Aries, the Leos, and the Sagittarius, because they love to research everything. Anything that sparks their interest, they're reaching for their phone or they're running to the computer, to go look it up. And the truth is, when I want to know something, when I want to know something, when I want to know what it is, what's the scoop? I go to one of these particular people that have this nature within them, you know. Once again, the fire and the air natures, your fire natures are your Aries, your Leos, your Sagittarius, your air natures are your Aquarius, your Geminis, and your Libras. These individuals, they love to research. They research everything. Even if they don't love the research, they still research. And they're very good at it. They're very good at it. So, uh, yeah. So, I teach people to help each other understand each other, because, the path to happiness, I believe, is understanding, because as humans, we all just really want to understand. We really just want to understand, why did this happen to me? Why God does this, or, why is it this? We're human beings, and we're all looking for understanding. And so I focus on the natures of people. People deal with people on a social level, on a social scale, I guess. But I look at the natures of people, and I to teach people to help people understand each other, why they do the things they do, why they say the things that they say, why they react the way that they react. And it really has nothing to do with you. Most of the time, it really doesn't have anything to do with you. It's just, this person is really, truly being themselves. You can only be who you are based on the nature that you have. And all things have a nature. All living things, all living creatures have a nature. Nature is the thing that animates you. It makes you move in the world the way you move in the world. It makes you react the way that you react. It makes you feel the way that you feel. Nature is in all living things. It really amuses me how we as human beings, we tend to try to, separate ourselves from the wild, from the outside, the wolves, the sheep, the lion, the bear, the tiger, the monkey, when it's all the same. It's all the same. Let's just think about it. Let's talk about nature. Let's talk about nature today. Nature is the thing that animates all living things. It makes things behave the way that they behave. Cats, dogs. Let's use these two particular species of animals. Cats all have a foundational behavior, even though they're all different, even though they're all unique, and even though they all have their different personalities. And I can only think that there's probably billions of cats on the face of the planet, and each one of them is different, even though they all have a foundational behavior. They all have these behaviors that are spread across all the species of cats. No matter how many different breeds that there are, no matter how many different kinds that they are, no matter how unique they are in each of their designs, it's a cat. Dogs the same thing. There's many different breeds of dogs. Let's think about it. They come large, they come real teeny tiny, like people. But people have foundational behaviors. And so when we know the nature of each other, when we can understand the nature of each other, life can be so much more peaceful because I know that the things that you're doing, you know, the things that you do, even though you might actually be doing it out of love, you know, it's just not translated into love to me because, you know, we might have uh, conflicting natures. We might have natures that are not alike, natures that don't work well together. And so this is where the conflict comes in between people. And so, you know, since I have embraced this, you know, it has made my life so much, so much easier because, you know, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. You know, like for instance, you know, I moved here to Cleveland and I took this job, this management job. I finally decided to go back into management. You know, I used to work for Walgreens as a store manager, and the way that they stole my job, you know, I had to reveal my sexuality in a time that I really hadn't even dealt with it myself, but I had to reveal my sexuality to the company and everybody. You know, I had to out myself, you know, not in the sense that I was really hiding, but I really didn't think that, you know, having to say that I'm a gay man had anything to do with, you know, work. You know, but I had to do this in order to save my job. And, you know, I ended up getting fired. And, I mean, I spent 14 years there. So it was a very traumatic experience. So I spent years avoiding, you know, trying to be a manager, trying to be the guy that runs the show. I ran from it. And I suffered. You know, I suffered because I wasn't living according to my nature. You know, I'm an earth nature. And, you know, the earth, you know, they are going to make the best managers, you know, hands down, because they're the ones that they're the foundation of all things. They can bring uh, foundation, stability, uh, structure to chaotic things, you know, and they can assign and delegate. They're very good at this. And, you know, this is where the power of the earth nature is. It's in management, it's in leading, you know. There are people that are natural born leaders, and there are people that help these leaders, you know, push their agendas. And so finally, you know, I decided to step into a management, you know, position, entry level, you know. And so nice pay, you know. Thank you, God, and thank you, universe. Uh, but you know, I'm an earth nature and a water nature. I'm a Scorpio. I'm born a Scorpio, and my mother is a Capricorn. And you know, I teach. If you follow me, I teach men that all men are the exact replicas of their mothers. So all men, their behaviors are going to begin with their mother. You know, no matter what you think, no matter how you feel about your mother, you know, besides all those emotions and feelings, you know, your mother is the foundation of who you are. If you are a man, your mother is the foundation of who you are. It's the foundation of all of your behaviors. It is what it is. It's irrefutable. You can't deny it. You can't run from it. You can, you know, you can put your head in the sandbox. You can put your head in the ground, but you are your mother. I mean, you were an egg inside of her womb, and therefore you are made up of all of everything that she is. And so you just may not be born under the same constellation that she is born, and that will be the separation between the two of you. But at the end of the day, the foundation, you know, all things have a foundation. At the end of the day, the foundation of who you are is your mother. Period. So, you know, I am a water and an earth nature. I'm rooted, grounded, I'm structured, but I'm sensitive and emotional. you know, yeah, I'm hard, but I'm soft. So, you know, my boss, you know, he's a fire and he's an air-natured man. You know, he's I believe he's an Aquarius and an Aries. That combination, and you know, that's the fire and the air. And so, I don't agree with his management style. I just don't. I don't agree with his management style. It's not that he's a bad man. It's not that he's a bad person. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Um, I just don't like his management style. You know, he doesn't manage with structure. He doesn't manage with stability. You know, he's not, you know, the type of manager that holds people accountable. All he cares about is the job getting done. You know, I had a boss back in Walgreens. His name was Mr. Drake. And I remember we worked really, really hard on this project that we had to do for my particular store, and we were really, really hard. I mean, countless hours, you know. And I remember he said to me, he said, you know, Tony, I don't really care about the effort. All I care is about the results, you know. It's like, wow, okay. You know, that's this boss. Fast forward, that's this boss. All he cares about is, you know, the work got done. I don't really care who got it done. You know, spare me the details, spare me the emotions and the feelings. You know, it's done. Let's move on. You know, that's his attitude. And even though, you know, as much understanding as I have about the natures of people, it pissed me off. It pisses me off because, wait a minute, now hold on, you're gonna let this person just get away? Like, no, you have to hold everyone accountable. Like, that's like in my world, you know, that's the only way you get things done. But I'm an earth nature, you know, so quite naturally it's in my nature to organize things a certain way. And even though I don't see organization in him, you know, the way that he organizes things is organized, you know, in his world because, you know, that's his nature. And so I know it's a lot, you know, but I understand it. I understand it. I get it. I get it. But, you know, I still get pissed off about it. But, you know, because I understand the natures of people, you know, it's made my life so much more fulfilling, even though I still come in conflict with, you know, people, you know, through certain situations and circumstances in life, you know, in our social structure. It still helps me to, you know, overcome, you know, the conflict and see the person as a person and withdraw me from hating them, you know, because let's just say this boss in particular, you know, if it had been, let's say 6-7 years ago, you know, I would have hated his guts. You know, you know, I would have had a grudge against him, and you know, that would have not been good. So, you know, I teach this, you know, to help people just like move on, you know, move on. A lot of the times when you come in contact with people and you have conflict, a lot of times it really doesn't have anything to do with you. It's just in their nature. And honestly, a lot of times people they have trauma. They have trauma in their life. They have trauma from the root of who they are. The beginning of their life, and women especially. But everybody's life is not different. You know, some people have uh, great lives. They were surrounded by love. Parents loved them, mother, father. They grew up with their sisters and their brothers. They were encouraged. They were kissed and they were hugged. And, all of these beautiful, warm emotions. But, there are many, 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 many people that grew up the opposite, the opposite way. Their parents, you know, abused them, whether it was physically, mentally, emotionally, verbally, it was abuse. It was traumatic, especially as a child. And so these people grew up, in this influential atmosphere. And as they grow up, they become adults and they have conflict with people. And so, when I run into people that I have conflict with, it, it's not about me. Really, not about me. I know that, this person, there's something uh, uh, that they need to resolve in their life, and that's why we're having conflict. It's really hard to have conflict with a person, that was loved, that, was encouraged, that had a good childhood, had a great foundation. So, when I'm dealing with people, when I'm dealing with employees, when I'm dealing with customers, I keep this in mind. When the customer's being belligerent, those customers, and one of them might be you out there watching. But when they're being belligerent, when they're, being unreasonable, first I assess what their nature is, and then once I understand what their nature is, based on, if it's a positive experience or if it's a negative experience, I know that if it's negative, that this person has some type of trauma in their life. And I guess because I'm a water nature, I find I have sympathy and empathy for them. And so, I hold on, wait, somebody might have a question. Okay. So I'm trying to get this person.
Hey Tony, what's
Hello.
up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I just wanted to say hi because I follow you on Instagram and I'm like, let me be like one of the people that actually say hi to this man and just not be looking weird on the camera and not saying nothing. So, what's up?
Okay. Okay. Hey, I appreciate that. I
How's
appreciate
Ohio
that.
for you? How's Ohio treating you? I used to live in that area.
Ohio, Ohio is going great.
Okay.
I'm doing I'm doing way better here than I was in Atlanta.
Is it more affordable?
So, huh?
Is it more?
Yeah, yeah. It let's say I would say it's fair. You know, I get the whole business aspect of it. Because if I had a property, I would want to make a profit off of it as well. But it just needs to be fair. All right, so I guess we're experiencing bad connection. Okay. Well, I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you, joining in. Of course, it's always better when you have another person on the end of the other line versus me just sitting here talking to you, trying to keep you entertained. But I forgot what I was talking about. And yeah, I think I was talking about me teaching constellation mapping and how it has made my life so much easier because I don't take things personal anymore. I let things go. I move on. Even though you might have pissed me off. Even though I feel you might have done the wrong thing. There's consequences for all things. You got to remember that. There's consequences for all things that are done. So if you offend someone, and if you offend a Leo and they beat your ass, well, I mean, if you stick your hand in the fire, what do you expect to happen? You're gonna get burnt. If you push an Aries, to a certain point, and it doesn't have to be that far, and they go off. Well, I mean, they are a fire nature, and it is what it is. If you have pushed a Taurus to the limit, and I mean we're talking years, maybe a decade or two, because the earth is very slow to anger. But when you have pissed them off and you have pushed them to the end, and they explode, I mean, well, it is what it is. So but anyways, if there's anybody out there that has a relationship question, anybody out there that wants to know who they would be best compatible with, anybody out there that wants to learn how to understand the mother, the father, sister, brother, I'm here for a little while. It's Sunday. It's in Cleveland, and it's kind of cloudy outside. It's raining, but it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. It's still peaceful. Ironically, I live across the street from a cemetery. I think God, of all the places that you could have put me, you put me right across the street from a cemetery. But it's peaceful. It's ironically just very peaceful. I guess because everybody's dead. But for me, it's a fair reminder that time is very limited here on Earth, and you must extract every ounce of life that you can out of life, and time is of the essence. And take nothing for granted, because the people before you, the ones whom have lived, their lives, they're no longer here experiencing this beautiful experience. So someone is asking, Juju Jefferson. Juju Jefferson wants to know, I'm a Scorpio, who am I most compatible with? Okay, so Jojo, you are a Scorpio. Well, no. If you're a man, technically you have the influence of a Scorpio. So we wouldn't need to know what your mother is. What is your mother's nature? If you can answer that question for me, and then I can give you a more accurate answer. But if you are a man and you have a mother that is a Scorpio, you would be best compatible with uh, a man that has a mother that is a Virgo. The Virgo and the Scorpio go hand in hand. Even if you are born a Scorpio, you're probably gonna possess friends, or you're probably gonna possess people in your life that you are very close to that have the Virgo nature. Um, just remember Virgos and Scorpios. uh, okay, she was born August 28th. Okay, so August 28th would be a Virgo. Okay, so you are a Scorpio and your mother is a Virgo. So if that's the case, then you are very balanced. You are very balanced. I don't know what what your relationship is like with your mother. Hopefully, it has been very positive. It should have been great. It should be great if she's still present here amongst us in the world. But see, they are cute. No, no, see. Okay. That's coming from Lorenzo dot the Soul Journey. What's up, brother? How you doing? But yeah, you guys should be very, very close, or should have been very, very close. But if your mother is a Virgo, that means that the foundation of who you are is the earth, which means that you are a Virgo. You just have a Scorpio. Oh wow, he said Virgo before even looking. The foundation of who you are is a Virgo, and the influence that you have on your Virgo-ness, the influence that you have on your life is Scorpio. And so, because these two natures are supposed to be together in life, whether they're intimate or whether they're not intimate. It can be a friendship. It could be a cousin. It could be a sister. It could be a brother. It could even be a coworker. It could even be a boss. One of the things that I always teach people to do is, like, when you're having a unique interaction with someone. You were in a club and, you and this person just ran into each other, and, whatever the case may be, you guys ended up like talking to each other. You guys got each other, understood each other, and you had all these commonalities, and, you felt like you just knew this person forever. This person felt like your closest friend. You just met him. Why is that? How is that? Out of all the people that were in the club, why is it just this person or these group of people? And so I teach people to, like, find out the energy, the chemistry of the people that, surround you, that the people that you run into. It's like, I can only use stories that, things that happen to me, and maybe they will transcend into things that, encounters that you may have had. But I was at the Home Depot, and I was in line, and usually, I've gone there, I've checked out my own stuff, or I'm going there, the cashier, she brings my stuff up, and she tells me a price. I swipe my card. She's nice, great experience. I go on my way, go home. But this particular day, this lady, she's, talking to me. And honestly, I kind of got annoyed, because I really was in the mood to just get my stuff and go, because, it's fucking cold in Cleveland. It's snowing for God's sakes. I really don't want to be out here, but I got to get what I got to get, and I want to go home. But she kept talking to me. And so, I try to understand, okay, let me just let me just calm down. So she's talking to me, and so I started talking back to her, and she's complimenting me, and I'm saying thank you, appreciate it, and she just kept talking to me, kept talking to me. So I stopped her and I said, let me ask you, are you a Pisces by chance? And she says, yeah, I'm a Pisces. She's like, how would you know that? Why would you think to even ask that? I said, well, it's because, I check, the energy and the chemistry of the person or people that I'm interacting with, especially when it's unusual, when it's, out of the ordinary. Um, like I went to an interview, and this district manager that was interviewing me, in the midst of the interview, he says, I like you. I like you. So we kept talking, doing our thing. And then, in the midst of the interviews, it's the second time he says, man, I like you. I really like you. Okay. And so, he did it a third time. And so I said, let me ask you. I was kind of afraid to ask him because, this is an interview and I need my job. I said, hey, let me ask you, are you or your mother, because, he's a man, men have two natures. So I said to him, I says, well, let me ask you, are you or your mother, a Pisces by chance? And so he says, well, yeah, I'm a Pisces. He says, oh, my mother, she's something else. I forgot. But he says, yeah, I'm a Pisces. He's like, how would you know that? Like, why would you even ask that? He said, well, Capricorn energy, Capricorn nature is who you're supposed to be with in life, is going to be the nature that's going to feel the best to you. These people, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're bisexual, it doesn't matter. These individuals that have this nature within them, you're going to love them. You're going to have a more positive interaction with them. And it's true. I mean, it's proven itself time and time again because, even the current job that I'm getting ready to actually leave for a better job. But at the current job, this new employee, she comes in the door, and instantly I love her. I love her. I think she's pretty. I think she's beautiful. I love her spirit. I love how she moves. I love her conversation. I love how she treats other people because I'm always listening to how she interacts with other people. And I have no attraction to women sexually. I love men. you know, but I love her. And so I'm like, I gotta ask her. I have to ask. So I went to her and I said, let me ask you, what are you? What's your nature? And she, of course, she didn't know what I was talking about, the way I framed the question. So I had to ask her, what's your birthday? Because I hate I hate doing that because people automatically think I'm talking about, astrology. They think I'm talking about horoscopes and zodiac. And even though I use those terminologies, that's just a quick way to know if you're a water nature, earth nature, fire nature, air nature. So, anyways, she, reveals that she's a Pisces. I said, oh, okay. Now it makes sense why I have these feelings for this individual, why I feel the way I feel about this individual, because, there's other people, there that I love. I get along with great. There's the Taurus. I get along with the Taurus beautifully, in fact, she's probably the only one that makes me laugh. But then, there's a Libra. And me and the Libra, we get along, and we laugh, and she's silly, you know, and funny and witty and stuff. So, you know, but this particular individual, like, you know, like probably if I wasn't gay, uh, I would like definitely be into her. You know, I think she's such a beautiful person. And you know, I can think of another person in my life that is the same way. I grew up, you know, I met this person in my 20s, and you know, here I am, 43, and I think this person is beautiful. I just love this person. I love everyone. You know, I love my mom, and I probably love this person. Probably more. Love my mom, and I love my mom greatly, dearly. You know, and kind of find out she's a Pisces. You know, so you start seeing a pattern in your life when you understand who you are and when you understand the nature of the person that you're supposed to be with. But um, I gotta go because I don't want to bore you guys anymore. But you know what? Let's acknowledge some people. Just DEV88, how are you doing? We're gonna wave at you. What's up? Albert Spiridon, how are you? D.J. Spin, SPINN, how are you? TYMPERTURE, how are you? I'll speak to you. What's up? Thank you for joining. Who else? Yeah, we love that. Yeah, so I guess anybody got any questions? Anybody want to know anything? I'll stay online a little bit longer. Because I forgot what I was talking about. TYTDIEY, how are you? Great, hope you are happy first day of spring. Yes, it is spring. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. You know, living here in Cleveland, you know, the winter wasn't too bad, I think. Because, you know, this is my first winter here in Cleveland. It wasn't too bad. You know, it is what it is. It snows. But I'm definitely in for spring, and I'm definitely in for summer. And I'm going to hate to see the winter come back again. But hopefully it's shorter than it was this time, because I think winter was only January, February, March. Yeah, like 3 months, 3.5 months at the most. That's it. You know, global warming is a bitch. It's coming. It's here. It's here. World Traveler underscore up underscore up underscore. What's up? That is a name. Zeke. What's up? Underscore Zeke. Who else? What's up? Who else? Adeon Johnson. How you doing? What's up? Big Pop 1968. How are you? What's up? Thank you for joining. Hello, what's in the bottom? Underscore Zeke. Yes, that is the. I get asked that question all the time. It's basically flavored water. For some reason, I'm addicted to it. I love it. I have like cases and cases of it in my freezer. I don't know, maybe they have some additive that only affects me, but I love it. So that's what it is. It's just flavored water. Nothing else, you know. Sometimes might have some vodka in it, maybe. That's only when I'm going to work. CD fan underscore Fox. How are you? Raphael Faustino. I'm just reaching. How are you? H Coleman 1. How are you? KRAZZOR 14. How are you? Any questions? Any relationship questions? Anybody want to come on live? Let me know before I leave. You know, I'm trying to think, like, am I going to eat today? You know, I've been eating a lot. I've been eating a lot since I got here to Cleveland. And, yeah, I'm not used to eating like I've been eating. So I'm going to have to, like reel that in. I'm going to have to reel that in because, yeah. I don't want to get like footballish, you know, like I used to be. I used to be like 205 pounds. And I used to, boy, I couldn't reach my bag, you know, still waiting on my interview. Oh, all right, brother. RJ Nathaniel, yes. But yeah, let's DM me. DM me. Let's set that up. Let's make that happen. Nino underscore blue underscore what's up? How you doing? TIBONOR man, what's up? How are you doing? I know it's never gonna. No, that's not true. RJ Nathaniel, you know, to be honest, you know, I was dealing with life, you know. I'm an earth nature and a water nature, so I need stability, structure, and foundation. Even though I can create this, I still need it. And so when, you know, things are not stable, when I don't have foundation, you know, I'm just all over the place. And when I'm all over the place, I'm no good to me, and I'm no good to anybody else. You know, this is what I've been trying to explain to someone that I really love. I love this person. And I've been trying to, you know, like convey to them, you know, my inconsistencies were due to me having to get my structure, my foundation, you know, because that's where my strength is. You know, I'm an earth and my water nature. So I need structure and foundation, and I am structure and foundation. So when there's no structure and foundation, there's a problem. There's a problem. And I'm not at my best. I'm not at my best. And, you know, why would I want to be in a relationship with a person when I'm not at my best? Like I want to be at my best. I want to be at my best because if I'm not at my best, you know, chances are I'll fuck shit up and lose you forever. So, Tucker underscore boy 41. How are you? Thank you for joining. SHONMARC 418. How are you? What's up? Makes sense. Well, let's fix this. LOL. I'm flexible. Yeah. I mean, you're a dancer, so of course you're flexible. You know, I wish, you know, like if I ever get the chance to come back to Earth or to life, you know, through another body. Of course, I want to be African American. I want to be able to sing. I want to be able to dance. I really think that the singers and the dancers, like, they live the life. They really live the life. JPE3, how are you? Thank you for waving. Official underscore Joe's MOOVETHA. How are you? Woodland09, how are you? Request being okay. We got a person here. Let's see if this works. Okay, so RJ Nathaniel, you know, I'm gonna be honest. A fantasy of mine is being able to do like a TikTok, like music video, you know, because I'm always on, you know, I'm on the internet and I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You know, on occasion you see, you know, these people, you know, do a little dance together or some shit. I don't know. But I really want to be able to do one of those like smoothly. But I'm quite sure I'll probably have to practice a lot. But that's something I want to do. So if you can help me make that happen, I'll erase it off my bucket list. Liquid Chaser, how are you? Yeah, that would be really dope. Yeah. Maybe it might go viral. That'd be dope too. Official. You know, I would really love to know. How did some of you come up with your tag names for Instagram? I would love to know, like, because some of these are really, really, really long. You know, like, how did you come up with this? Okay, so we'll go live. We'll go live with somebody. Let's see if it works.
Some of these are really long.
What's up? What's up, brother? How you doing?
Chilling. So listen, that's super easy. We can definitely make that happen.
Okay. Well, where are you now?
I'm still in Atlanta. Actually currently working on this film, The Color Purple. So I'll be here for at least the next 6 months.
Oh, that's nice. So, I mean, you playing what, Miss Seeley, or what you playing?
No. And they brought Fantasia back to play Silly. I don't know if you've ever seen the Broadway show.
Is she gonna sing that song? I'm here. What's that song? I think.
Yeah, she is. So originally, she played the original in Broadway, and then she had to leave because of like throat complications. And they brought in Cynthia Erivo for the Broadway show in the remake. But now they're making a movie musical, and they brought Fantasia back to play her original character as Celie.
Okay, well, yeah, that's gonna be good because I love Fantasia. She has a really strong voice.
Favorite artist to date. Literally, she's from North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina. She's from High Point, which is literally like maybe 15, 20 minutes from Greensboro, where I grew up. Her whole success story from Idol to taking care of her family. She's a phenomenal just woman and artist, and she's awesome to work with. So it's going to be really dope. I'm not Celie. I'm actually a cast member ensemble. So I'll be dancing in the background.
Okay. So, like, when did you start dancing?
When did I start dancing, like professionally or in general?
Just in general.
Ooh. Okay, so I don't really
Like
call this, but
when did you know that you had it?
when did I know that I had it? That's such a good question. I know my mother told me that I broke out dancing at like my aunt's cookout when I was like 2. But I specifically remember dancing at the like Boys and Girls Club when I was around like 8 years old. Like I grew up in the projects and you know that whole story. And actually how I got started professionally dancing was this Caucasian man who had a classical ballet company, who was recruiting, you know, men out of the hood to teach them classical ballet. And so he would pick us up on Saturdays and we would go to the, you know, studio and flip on mats and all that. But then it got real when they put out them dance belts and tights. So obviously by nature the other boys ran. And I don't know, something just made me stay. And I was the only male that stayed. And he kind of took me underneath his wing and started cultivating my talent. And so I studied training in ballet for like 10 years and then ended up doing productions and went to college for theater and all of that.
So like what age were you when you started ballet?
I was 8 when I started ballet. And I did.
Okay, so now how did you handle that like growing up? I mean, like did other guys know that you did ballet or you know?
So the guys in my neighborhood that was originally was like 8 of us, they originally came. They knew because they absolutely ran from once they realized what we were doing. And, you know, black community projects, they was like, oh, that's gay. That whole thing happened. But honestly, I honestly didn't care. It was one of those things where it was like I was going on trips. I was doing things in my neighborhood that nobody else was doing or getting to experience. You know, I got my first concert or live stage performance at the Coliseum when I was like maybe 9, and I was in Nutcracker. I was in theater. So I don't know. The circumstances of what was happening was beyond like what people were saying. You know what I mean? I kept doing it. And so
I mean like were what was there ever a time that you were ashamed of it?
it wasn't a time that I was ashamed, but there was a time, you know, when I turned 18 where I was like looking around and noticing that there was nobody that looked like me. Like because I was in it so it didn't matter. I was a kid, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, I'm dancing. I was immersed in art, so it didn't matter. It wasn't until I got to high school when I realized like, oh, wait a minute, like, you know what I mean? I started looking around and I transferred like this diverse elementary and middle school to an all black high school. So culture kind of hit me, and culture is where the turning happened. You know what I mean? And I started looking around. It's a bunch of like rich Jewish people around me with like mansions and their mothers. Like their stories didn't correlate with my upbringing, and so that's when I started to question. And it was when I got to high school, and specifically when I transferred to an all black high school. And I stopped doing it. And I got more immersed in culture. I joined the step team, marching band. I started taking more like hip hop and African folk form style dancing. And ballet just was a foundation, and I left it right where it was, and I took off from there in more culturally important style movement to me and my identity. But yeah, I'm thankful because that foundation has literally kept me to this day in the working world. You know what I mean?
So when you were growing up in the you say the projects, right? Okay, when you were growing up in the projects, did you really know that you were growing up in the projects? Because it's interesting because like when children when they have like love and the mother there and she's behind them, encouraging them, even though they might be poor by society standards, by social standards. You really never knew any different. You just figured that that's the way life was until you stepped out there and you saw, oh shit, like what the fuck is, oh
No,
wow, like,
literally. I mean, nailed it on the head. My mother was awesome. You know what I mean? It was just by chance that we were in the projects. You know what I mean? But our house internally didn't reflect it. The spirit of love didn't reflect it. The community in which I was surrounded by, as far as like my friends and stuff like that, it didn't reflect it. It was like you said, by society, the projects, but to us internally, it was the community. You know what I mean? And so, no, I didn't. And again, the only turning point for me is when I was in those classical ballet environments and I would go to their homes and I would see their family dynamic and I would be like, wait a minute, my neighborhood doesn't look like this, or my mom and dad aren't in the same house and one's not a doctor and the other one's a lawyer and they're not picking me up in this minivan and giving me snack when I walk, you know what I mean? So that for me is when it started to reflect like, oh, something's different about my community versus this community. And even still, I never felt like it was less than. I just identified that it was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you grew up with a good relationship with your mother.
Oh yeah. My mother.
So now, I know we probably talked about this, and I know I probably have asked, and I probably forgot. What are you born as?
As what?
What's your sign?
Oh, my birthday's October 29th, 1990. So I think that makes my sun in Scorpio. My
What's your mother?
is in Taurus and my moon is in Pisces.
What's your mother?
She's a Sag. December 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, so technically, you would be a Sagittarius, and you have the influence of the Scorpio. So you are a water, and the foundation of you is the fire nature. It's probably attributed to you being able to travel the world because most of your fire natures, your air natures, people that are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libras. They love to travel. There's people that like to travel, but these people need to travel. They need to be out and about, doing different things.
I'm on for sure.
And I think that's probably why you love dance so much, is because each dance is not the same.
No.
There's a variety in dance. There's ballet, there's hip hop, there's salsa, all the other, versions of dance. So
travel a lot in dance too. Like my gift of dance has afforded me to go to places again far beyond the projects, places I never would have imagined ever going. I've probably visited every continent besides Antarctica just through the gift of dance. You know what I mean?
But you're also sensitive and emotional too, right?
In what regard?
Well, you being the Scorpio, you being the water nature, you're not gonna be as sensitive and emotional as a Scorpio would be, standing alone. But there's some aspects of your life where you're very sensitive, you're very emotional, and maybe only those that you allow in, maybe only those that are closest to you, or those that you let closest to you, because you are a fire nature. So you can't keep people away. But those people that are closest to you, they'll probably be the only people that will see that sensitive, that emotional side of you. But you have to be your water nature. So there's gonna be something in your life. It may be some people might it might be dogs or animals or something like that they're very sensitive and emotional towards. But, you know, there's going to be aspects about your life where you're going to be sensitive and emotional. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
I feel like, I don't know if it's, I will say it's emotional. I don't know if it's sensitive. I do know that I'm very empathetic too. Like, I feel everything.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like,
Yeah.
even if, like, even in the context of this conversation, like, by me listening to you and then reflecting at the same time, like, I get emotional. You know what I mean? So, but it's because I take on things that are around me, because I'm very empathetic and I care about everything and everybody. And sometimes, like you said, yeah, that can definitely draw emotions, that are, they're very, what's the word I want to use? They're inspiring and hopeful type of emotions, though. You know what I mean? Because I want to see people win, but I also see the truth in reality and what stands in front of me. And so that kind of brings out emotion too, because it's like, damn, you want somebody to change, but they can't, they are not seeing what I'm seeing. And sometimes the process of getting to that change for them is a little bit harder than what I'm requesting. So again, that draws emotions and that makes me feel a certain type of way. But it's never negative. It's always in a very hopeful manner. But sometimes in that hope, it does get discouraging if a person isn't like grasping. You know what I mean? But
Well, one thing about being a Pisces, having this nature within you, the Pisces nature, the Cancer's nature, the Scorpio nature, these are all water natures. And you hit the nail with the hammer when you use the word sympathetic and empathetic.
empathetic, yeah.
You know, only the water talks like this, you know, because the water understands sympathy and empathy, you know, and that's just a part of being a water nature. We feel everything, like everything we feel, you know, and that's how we live in the world. We live in the world through our feelings and through our emotions. And sometimes, I know for me, when somebody has hurt my feelings or done something wrong to me, you know, my reaction may be different, you know, in the circumstances, situation. And I have to talk myself through, you know, the emotions, like, okay, Tony, okay, yeah, we know they hurt your feelings. We know, you know, they said something that you didn't like, but, you know, let it go. That's just my nature. Probably your nature is probably going to beat their ass.
That was funny. I think because I have that Taurus and that Taurus rising and that Pisces moon, the Scorpio was kind of balanced because I don't.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. I want to know. So why do you feel like you connect to the astrology birth charts?
I don't. I just recently started studying it. I'm more of a numerology type of guy. I'm like more.
Okay, so you know there's nothing wrong with numerology, because numerology is all throughout the Bible. You know, are great numbers in meanings, and God also speaks to certain individuals through numbers. You know, God is all things. You know, I teach people that God is all things. God can communicate through you through Buddhism, can communicate to you through Christianity, can communicate to you through Hinduism. You know, all things go back to God. And so, you know, numerology has its place. But, okay, so birth charts, you know, because I teach constellation mapping.
Yeah.
And it's proven itself over and over and over and over again, even if it doesn't align with your narrative. Because everybody has their narrative of how they want things to be and what they want. But that's not necessarily going to be possible, you know, on your attention.
The accuracy of it, I just don't know it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, when you ask me, like, what's my connection? I don't know. You know what I mean? All I know is this is my sign. That's the day I was born.
Yeah.
This is what they say about it.
Yeah.
If I connect to it, in some ways, yes. In some ways, not necessarily so much. Again, that could be due time of day that I was born, what year was happening, what was the, you know, mother and father.
Well, here's the thing. You know, it's all about, you know, your life here on Earth, and you know, who you are made from.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, which I don't think.
And so your mother is who you are made from, and so we have to remember that we are suspended within the constellations. You know, people. It's funny, they get so caught up in like the socialness of who we are. You know, the social structure, going to work, coming home. You know, but they fail to realize that there's a whole entire galaxy. There's a whole entire solar system outside, our front door, and we're suspended within it, and the constellations do affect the mood, the behaviors of people. Just like when the moon is full, we all say, oh man, people gonna be acting a fool today, man. It's a full fucking moon. But the truth is, and we can prove this scientifically, the moon does affects the tides, it affects the moods of the people. And so because you are made up from your mother, the foundation of who you are is that fire. It's that fire nature. You share her exact mitochondria. The exact mitochondria. If you have a sister, she'll have traces of the mother's mitochondria, but it won't be the exact. So you the foundation of who you are, all your behaviors begin with mom. And then you may not necessarily have been born under the same constellation that she was born under. You just so happen to be born under a Scorpio constellation. So that's the separation between the two of you. Because if your mother never raised you, if you never laid eyes on her, let's say she gave you up for adoption, and somebody had the chance to know you, somebody had the chance to know your mother, the first thing they would say is, wow, you act just like your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know a lot of times men have trauma, with their mothers. They have bad experiences with their mothers. And I try to help men, identify, what the problem is and work through it, because, if you hate your mother, well, I mean, you are your mother. So
loving yourself.
Yeah.
I love my mom. My mom is everything. We are, like you said, it's no doubt actually look more like my mother than my own father. If you look at baby images of her and me, it's like my face. I mean, her face was just slapped onto mine, so we have a very strong connection. And I think when I left home and I moved away, I started to see the resemblance even more, like, wow, I really, like, you know what I mean? How I carry myself and like handle business, and just my detail to certain matters in my home, and how I present my house and welcoming towards people and all that is further written all over it. You know what I mean? And you don't see it until you leave home. You're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So that's spot on. And again, it's I agree with everything that you're saying. Astrology for me is just something that it comes in increments. Like, people will say something and I may go read up on it, or, something would be interesting, and then I'll just want to know more about it. But I've never
that's that researcher in you.
Yeah, I never dove all the way into it to be like, oh, this is fine, this is your chart, this is your moon, this is your, I don't know.
Well, for you and anybody viewing this, take the birth charts and toss them in the trash and focus on your mother and you. You know, there are some men out there that their mother may be a Libra and they may have been born a Libra as well. So I would consider them a pure Libra.
Mm-hmm.
And they can only experience life through their Libra-ness. They can only experience life through the air. So that's why when they come across someone that's water natured, someone that's earth natured, they don't understand, they don't get the way they live in the world. They don't understand like the way they use their words. You know, even the understanding of words, the meaning of words is going to be totally different.
So
And that's why when they get into a relationship, you know, it's a conflict because they're both speaking English, they're both speaking the same language, but the meaning of the words are different for each person. Because if you are an air nature or a fire nature, chances are that you probably went to the dictionary or the thesaurus to really like understand this word. Whereas if you are probably the water nature or the earth nature, you probably use the word maybe because you've heard it used in that way before, but chances are you didn't really go to the dictionary, you know, to like look it up, because the air and the fire, they're avid researchers.
So
And
is
so
the
when you,
what is the okay? So you're basically saying that you're the constellation of your mother's sign. My mother's Scorpio. I mean, my mother's a Sagittarius. I'm a Scorpio. What is the difference in the signs as far as like you said?
well, you have the foundation of who you are is a fire nature.
Okay, fire. What is Scorpio?
Yeah. Scorpio is a water nature.
Okay, water. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of times you'll probably recognize that you'll probably feel two different ways about a particular subject. You know, especially like
Yeah,
relationships. So people usually that
I'm very indecisive for sure. Like I always teeter between.
okay.
Uh huh.
The, so usually people that are have conflicting natures, as we call it, conflicting natures. They're in your case, you have a water nature and a fire nature, and so these two natures in life, you know, they cancel each other out. They don't coexist, you know, together, because either the water is going to put the fire out, or the fire is going to change the temperature of the water, or the fire is going to evaporate the water. So you have these two natures within you, and you have to live in the world between these two natures. It's not your fault, and there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with about the things that you do. You can only live through your nature. So you live through the fire and you live through the water. So you're explosive, but sympathetic and empathetic. So chances are, before you explode, you'll you'll consider the damage. You know, you'll take stock. Okay, but before I do this, you know, probably gonna hurt somebody's feelings, or somebody gonna feel this way. So, you know, maybe I'll just back off. You know, it's probably a little easier for you to let shit go. Now, if it was a pure Sagittarius, you know, it's in their nature to just go the fuck off. They go off. But, you know, this person doesn't have a water nature to give them the understanding of, you know, what it is to be sympathetic and empathetic. A person that's sympathetic and empathetic, they're going to turn away from war. But a person that doesn't know what sympathy and empathy is, they just explode, and it is what it is. And are they wrong for exploding? No. Why? Because something set them the fuck off. You know, the fire doesn't ignite itself. you ignite it. So
Wait, but are you a Scorpio too?
yes, I am born a Scorpio, but the foundation of who I am is a Capricorn.
Oh wow, very interesting.
So the beginning of all my behaviors are going to be earthy. They're going to be very earthy, rooted, grounded, structured, peaceful, keeping shit together, structured, organized. And, you know, even though you do need that in your life because you are partially water. You know, you do need in aspects of your life, you do need structure, you do need foundation.
Yeah.
And those things can be, you know, can be different things. You know, some water natures will find structure and stability and foundation in a job because that job pays them a considerable amount of money. It keeps them comfortable. Some people will find that in a relationship. Some people will find that in a hobby, you know, something. But if you're a water nature, if you're a Pisces, you're a Cancer, you're a Scorpio, you need some type of stability, structure, foundation. But because you are also a fire nature, you need to be free. You need to be free. You need space, you know. And that's why in life, you know, when you're dating someone, you have to be with someone that understands space.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a Capricorn. I don't need space, you know.
Yeah, y'all like.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to be up on you and close. So,
so where does your Scorpio identity show up in your life? If you're mainly rooted in your parent, well, your mom, you said for the male, Capricorn.
My Scorpio nature, well, you know, Scorpios, it's a water nature. It's a sexual nature, but it's more sensual than it is like raunchy.
Yeah,
you know, people say Scorpios as freaks, and the truth is they're not freaks in like the anything goes type of way.
Oh my God, exactly. I've been trying to explain, people think that I'm like swindling them when I say that. I'm like, no, it's way more than it just being like this nasty, freaky, da 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 da. It's a compassion and a very intense, sensual experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People think that that's like quote unquote cap, but I'm telling them like it's fact.
Yeah. That and that's the thing. And so you know, that's the Scorpio side of me. You know, being very
bedroom.
Like it'll show up in the bedroom mainly, but like in life in general, it's easier for me to let things go. Cause if you are a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, you know, when you have been pissed off, you know, you can be tough, you're hard to the core, you know, and you have longevity. You know, these are the individuals that hold the grudges the longest.
Oh my God, yes they do, especially
if you piss off a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, they'll hold a grudge for 30 years.
Literally.
You know, 40 years to the day they die.
Literally.
You know. So that's partially me, but because I have that Scorpio nature, my Scorpio nature come in and say, okay, Tony, now you need to let this go. Move on.
Scorpio really is the balance. Well, the water is really the balance, you know, because it's like you have the Capricorn and the Scorpio, and I have the Scorpio and the Sagittarius, which is why I feel like we have balance in, like you said, making decisions not based on like what.
Well, see, like you being a water nature, part of the water nature, you should have great intuition. You know, it's that for these people, if you're a Pisces, if you're a Cancer, you're a Scorpio, you're going to experience this, and I always they always agree. So it's this audible voice. It's this voice and it sounds like you. It sounds like you. It's your voice, but it always tells you to do something. And usually it tells you to do something that you did not intend to do, or it usually tells you to do something that you don't want to do, or the opposite of what you're doing. But it's to save you, you know, because these people, they know they know things. They just know it. It's like they can feel it. They can, and it comes through them through, you know, that voice, that audible voice. And so I've experienced it so many times, you know, where I could be walking down the street and something to say, go down this street right here. And I'll be like battling with them myself, like, wait a minute, why am I going down the street? Just go down the street. Okay. And so I've learned to just obey. I just go down the street, and then, you know, maybe an hour later, something may have happened, and I'll be like, man, I'm glad I went down that street. Man, I'm glad I listened. So do you experience that in your life?
Yes, definitely. And okay, so now we're gonna really get in, because I think that there is a great understanding with spirit, you know, and when you talk about audible voices, when you talk about the voice within, you know, a lot of people have identified that as like your soul or your conscious or whatever. To me, I have claimed it as the God within self, you know, the true you. You know, we all know that the flesh is just like an external, you know, vessel that is used to operate in this realm or the context of this planet, Earth. But your soul can transcend anywhere. You know, it speaks to you. It's the true version of who you really are. And so that obedience is what has carried me throughout, because I've always listened to the voice that was within me, because I knew that that was the real me. And so flesh will say one thing because of worldly desires, but my inner God, my conscience, my soul tells me otherwise. And so the divine balance for me, not only just in the context of, you know, the constellations or astrology, but spirit too, flesh, spirit, you know, it's so you have these like double things that are happening that deals with balance. And to me, I found peace in understanding that, okay, if I, like you, listen to that voice that tells me that it's for my greater good, I no longer fight it. I no longer try to make sense of it. Like you said, I just listen. And when you do, you're rewarded in ways, you know, and you can put that to religion and say, when you are obedient to God, he blesses you, you know. But I spiritually say, you know, when you listen to yourself, your soul, you will also be rewarded in the context of the universe, astrology.
And so I'm so glad that you said it, because you said it beautifully without me even really having to expound it or say it myself. When you said that you live in the spirit and the flesh, you know, you got to remember in life, everything has an opposite of itself.
Yes.
You know, one cannot live without the other. And so you have to have spirit and you have to have flesh. Some people will call it the spirit and some people will call it logic. Things that are logical. Things that I can touch, feel, read, see is right here, you know, before my eyes. Not my spiritual eyes, because, you know, when you have spiritual eyes, you don't need to see it. It don't need to be here. It's already, it's here. I can see it, you know, but it's not physical. You know, there are people that live in the logic, you know, whether you want to call it flesh, but it's the logic. It needs to be seen, you know, it needs to be a mathematical, you know, calculation that comes out to a specific number. You know, that's the only way that is only going to make sense to them. And both are needed in the world, because you got to remember, spirituality doesn't get you to Mars.
No.
You know, spirituality doesn't build a telescope. You know, only logic does. You know, so you have to live in the spirit, and you have to live in the flesh. Now, there are going to be some people in life that only live through the flesh because of their natures, because their mother, you know, if I had to identify the people that live through the flesh or people that live through logic, these are the air natures and these are the fire natures. Anybody that lives through the spirit is going to be your earth natures and your water natures. You just so happen to have both. So you have access to the spirit and you have access to the logic.
Yes.
But there are some men that only have access to just one. So they might, I know some men that their mothers are Pisces and they're Pisces. They can only move in the spirit. Logic, you know, not saying that they're gonna go to school and dismiss that 1 + 1 is 2, you know, 4 + 4 is 8. You know, we're not saying that. We're saying that, you know, they don't live in logic. They can move in the spirit, and that's their power. That's their power. You know, the logic is not their power. You know, these are the people that will probably be most capable of making, you know, an arm grow. You know, they're the miracles. You know, because there's no logic in miracles.
Yeah.
You know, do miracles exist? Of course, they exist. We all have been spared by miracles.
Yes.
And so they both are necessary. So you explained it beautifully. You know, you said it in your own words and in your own way. And there are going to be people out there that have like natures like you that are going to be able to identify with every single thing that you just said, because you guys share that. And that's what I've been trying to teach people is like, you ever meet somebody and you don't know them, you never met them a day, you know, this is the first encounter, but you get each other. You get it. Like, you feel them. Like, you be like, damn, I feel the same way about that, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, fuck that shit, you know. And you know, you know, I go a step further to find out what's their energy. Like, what's this chemistry that we have going on between each other. Right. And I ask them, I say, what's your birthday? And they'll tell me. And then I ask them, you know, if they're a man, you know, I ask them, what's your mother's birthday? And they'll tell me. And I say, oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. You know, I understand why. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know how we connected, but I think you was like, you're a Scorpio, run. You know, we didn't get to the point of the mother thing, which I think now makes more sense in the context of this conversation. That there's more to, I guess, my energy and nature than the Scorpio. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially if we talk about, you know, it being more closer to your mom than your, you know, birth. So that was an interesting discovery just now, which I think that now that I'm hearing that from you, I'm realizing now how similar we are, that I didn't realize before. You know what I mean? Because we had halted at the Scorpio.
Yeah. You know, like I ask, you know, I ask all men. I always ask them, what's your mother? And they be like, some men be like, what my mother got to do with this? I'd be like, well, That's who you truly are. That's the beginning
Yeah.
of who you are. I want to know who you are before I want to know your name.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's key.
Um, and so when I know who you are, I know your natures. I know how to engage you. I know how to talk to you. You know, because you can't talk to everybody the same. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't engage everybody the same. Even though we all are different and unique in our own unique, intricate, detailed way,
Yeah.
you still have to, approach people differently, differently from, people that you might approach, here and there and there and here. So when I know these things about you, then I know what to expect.
Yeah.
I know that, okay, I probably can't joke with this person too much because, they might go the fuck off. They're fire nature. I have to be very careful to offend them.
Yeah.
So I approach them differently. Like when they're pissed off. Because I work in retail. I work with a lot of different people with
Oh, you work in
different.
retail?
Yeah,
Really?
and so I'm a manager. If you are a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, you know, um, management is your strong suit. Management is
Yeah,
where,
delegation for sure.
yeah,
Like
your power.
leaders. Yeah, very leader oriented.
Because very natural born leaders, they can bring stability, structure, and foundation to chaotic things. They can delegate, organize, govern. They're just natural at it. You don't have to teach them in great measures. They don't have to go to school necessarily for
Yeah,
years and years
and
and
that's
years to get
so
it.
funny. That's very, very, very true.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So as far as love goes, I'm
Are
always,
you sure you want to talk about that? We will be
I'm
here for
always,
all. We'll be here for all of eternity.
I'm always trying to help people find love. Because I think love is the most powerful
It is.
mechanics, on the face of the planet.
It really is. It's truly
You-
the answer to a lot of things of what I think people look for.
yeah.
And I will say that again, going back to spirit within, Whitney said it best. The greatest love of all is the love we found inside of ourselves. Which is, again, if we translate that to religion, they say that God is love and love is God. And then if we take that back to what I was saying earlier, if the God is within us and it's love, then there is the greatest love of all that we find with this side of ourselves. And so, in knowing that, as well as living in this space, it makes it a little bit difficult to find an equally reciprocated love that is matching of the energy that I have for myself, which is to me, again, the greatest love of all, because it's the essence, the God that's within us that translates to love. I find it just a little difficult. It's not impossible, but it's not. I've yet to meet an individual that can match that. People come close, but then there's always some type of hiccup or something that isn't quite there.
So let me ask you, in your life, do you know like I use the word natures, but do you know the signs of the people that you dealt with or that
Yep,
you
they were
like?
like your mother. They were a Capricorn, or they were a Pisces, or a Sagittarius. I've only been in 3 relationships.
Okay, so here's your homework. I want you to focus on if if you're out, because you got to remember the Bible, because people always say, I'm not going to look for love. You got to look for love. Bible says if you don't seek it, you're not going to find it. It's not going to come knocking on your door.
Oh, no,
So
absolutely not.
what you got to focus on is the foundation of who you are first. So you need to go find yourself a Libra, a person, a man that has the mother. The mother has to be the Libra. She has to have the nature of air because your mother is the Sagittarius, and that person, whoever this is, needs to be born, preferably a Virgo. Because
born a Virgo with the mother in Libra.
Yeah. A Virgo Libra, and we're talking fully functional, because not everybody that you meet, even though they might be the CEO, they might be the manager, they might be the owner of the building, business or whatever the case may be. They might be the performer. I'm quite sure a lot of the performers that you perform with, they're not functional.
They're not. And that was why I think the last situation is because that's the world that I'm in. I typically date artists or people who are within that discipline. And like you said, it's like, they're not stable. And it's ironic that you have me that's in that same world and I am stable, which is very interesting. I haven't really figured that one out.
Do you know why you would be considered stable?
Are you asking me or are you going to tell me?
Well, I'm asking first, then I'm going to tell
you. Probably because my mother's nature, you said?
Well, because of your relationship with your mother.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
Very true.
You love your mother.
And when I found that people that don't have that relationship with their mother, they struggle a little bit and love themselves and others. Yeah.
So that's what we have to find. Now people that are watching, because I know this is live, if a man has had a bad relationship with their mother, it's not the end of the world. No. It's not saying that you're a bad person. It's not saying that there's something wrong with you. You just need to repair that relationship. If you have any ill feelings towards your mother, you need to go and find a way to repair that in your heart so that you can live the fullness of your life. Because people that are living the fullness of their life, they don't have conflicts with everybody that they meet.
Nope. And what's so funny? I have a sibling, my brother, and he doesn't have the best relationship with my mother, not because of anything she did, but just because of his own, just whatever. And he suffers from that. And it's crazy because you can see the dynamic clearly in our household of two people being born by the same mother and having two different outcomes.
Now, why do you think you have a better relationship with her than him?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Well, mainly because probably he spent time elsewhere. Not a lot.
Let me ask you this. What's his birthday?
He's a Scorpio too. We're both Scorpios. She had 2 Scorpio boys.
Oh, okay.
He's November 10th. I'm October. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
How was his childhood?
It was like mine in a way. We grew up in the same household. I do think that because, certain things that my mom did, there was like a godmother, mother or whatever in our neighborhood that took care of like kids. Again, we're talking about the projects and da-da-da-da. So my mother obviously had to work a lot and blah, blah, blah. And so our godmother, Cheryl, who took care of the neighborhood kids, had a daughter who, her name was Delilah. She was older than us, but she was still a young girl. She took more to my brother because he was like a little brother to her in the household. But her choice in men weren't the best. You know, she dated a lot of drug dealers, a lot of like hood dope boys. And my brother was around that because he was around her. And so whereas I turned to the arts and after school programming, my brother was next to Delilah and her drug dealer boyfriends in the streets. So there's the dynamic in that.
Okay, so he probably had trauma. I'm quite sure.
Oh, I'm sure he definitely has trauma.
That type of lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, even in your own family, you can see the dynamic of the relationship between the mother and the son. So if you can find yourself a man that has a mother that's a Libra and he loves his mother, and he's born a Virgo. That's gonna feel the best. Like I promise you.
What do you think that is for you though? What is that for you?
Oh, for me? You mean like what's like my combination?
Yeah.
Well, I'm technically, because I'm a Capricorn, I'm supposed to be with the Pisces, a man that has a mother that's a Pisces. And because I'm a Scorpio, I'm supposed he should be born a Virgo. And that will satisfy and fulfill both sides of my nature.
Okay, now I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And so and ironically, I've met, an individual with those two natures. And I even said, before I even knew constellation mapping, before I even started teaching it, I could feel it, because I remember specifically we were at his house and we were at a birthday party and he was getting up to go outside on the patio, and I was sitting on a sofa, and as I was getting up, I stopped myself and I was like, damn. I was like, man, I just love the way you treat me.
The energy. You felt the energy.
My God, it was crazy. And it wasn't until I moved to Bermuda. I'm in Bermuda. I'm in the most beautiful place in the world. It's probably the richest men on the fucking face of the planet here.
Literally.
And here I am thinking about him. And it wasn't until then it dawned on me. I was like, well, wait a minute. I asked him, I was like, is your mother Pisces? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's what this shit is. That's what it is.
Wow.
Your natures. They're perfect. They're perfectly aligned with mine. And then, he's a fully functional man. So, now it explained everything. And even Pisces that have been in my life, that even been women, before I even knew what they were, I love these women. Oh my God, it even scared me a little bit, because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gay, the fuck? But I love these women way more than I probably should. Not sexually, but I love them. My cousin's wife, well, the day I met her, I love her. I can't help it. And, I was sitting at a table one day. This is like years after I started teaching constellation mapping. I hadn't talked to her in a while. I'm sitting at the table, and, I like to challenge myself. I like to challenge myself because, I'm always testing constellation mapping. I'm always testing it and retesting it and testing it over and over again. Because that reassures me the validity of what I'm teaching the people. I'm the guinea pig first. So I'm sitting there at the table and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be with a Pisces, and thus far, every Pisces or every person that I meet with a Pisces nature in them, I find myself feeling very strongly about them, or I find myself doing things for them that I won't do for anybody else. And so I thought about her, and I said, I love this woman. You know, I love her. She has to be a Pisces. She has to be. If she's not a Pisces, I'm probably gonna lose a little faith in what I teach.
Right.
And so I got a chance to talk to her, and I was only interested in what her birthday was. I just needed. So I said, Tammy, her name's Tammy. I said, Tammy, what's your birthday? And she said, oh baby, I'm a Pisces. And I said, damn.
Wow.
Damn, that's what this shit's been all this time. You know, she has that energy that I'm supposed to be with in life, and that's why it feels so good when she comes around. You know, that's why I love her so much. And ironically, my first boyfriend, he had the Pisces nature within him. And I've never, I loved him. Oh my God. When I say in love with him, I was in love with this guy.
Wow.
But the foundation was off. Because I was always like, I love these things about him, but there's a
Wait, your sound went out. Yes. Okay, there you go.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay, so damn, I probably missed all my story. But ironically, my first boyfriend he had the Pisces nature in him. And I loved him to pieces, but there was another side of him that always conflicted with me. And so, we broke up, and of course, I didn't know what I know now. And so, we hadn't talked to each other in years. So I was sitting at a table one day. One day I wanted to challenge myself again, and I said, okay, I don't know what his mother is, but based on his behaviors, based on his lifestyle choices, based on the things that he liked, he had to be an air nature. I said he has to be an Aquarius. His mother has to be an Aquarius, a Gemini, or Libra. I don't know which one, but he's definitely air nature. So I got a chance to ask him. And so he says, oh, I said, what's your mother's birthday? He says, oh, my mother, she's an Aquarius. I said,
that was it.
Now it makes sense. Now
do you feel like in knowing that now, does that possibly limit the people that you even give a chance to without, I guess when you discover their nature and their whatever, are you automatically like, no, like, or do you feel like that it's possible to still work despite the, I guess, astrology of it all?
I'm so glad that you asked that question. And I know that's coming from that Sagittarius side of you. Because, Sagittarius, Leos, Aries, Aquarius, Geminis, Libras, they're very open-minded. They're very open-minded. They're very, what we would call optimistic. Mm-hmm. Your water natures and your earth natures, because they live on the side of caution and because they live on the side of spirit, they would seem more pessimistic, but it's really just caution. So here's the thing, like, anybody can date anybody. You can date whoever you want to date. It's just what's going to determine is, are you going to get along? Are you going to get along? Are you going to enjoy this person? And are you going to stay together? Are you going to stay together? And in staying together, are you compatible? Are you, because I remember you saying the word reciprocate, reciprocate. And so, you know, in relationships, we all need something in our relationships. I don't care who you are. I need something. You need something, you know. And the question is, are you the individual, even though you're beautiful, even though you're sexy, you fine, got a fat ass, big dick, whatever, are you capable of giving me the things that I'm going to ultimately need in my life? Because, you know, physical is physical, you know, but outside of the physical, if there's nothing beyond the physical,
So,
what
in
does it?
knowing that, if a person doesn't possess the physical and they meet your astrology needs as far as the mother in this and da 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 da, you know that they're going to give you what your spirit and your soul and your creation needs, but physically they may not be what's sexually appealing. Because I don't know, but I feel like I've been in a situation like that. Again, I don't know astrology, da da da, but again, I know feeling where I'm like, wow, I really love this person, da 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 da, but then I'm looking at them like, but nah, like, this ain't my. So then again, we go back to the spirit of what we prefer versus what's in our purpose, you know. And some people will say like, you might be looking at the love of your life right in front of your face, but because you're so drawn to this, you're missing your blessing. You know what I mean? So for you, and this will be my last question because I got to hit it in like 4 minutes.
Okay.
What do you do? Like, are you willing to date and go with that person, but to satisfy your soul versus your flesh, or it will still be a no because you're not sexually necessarily attracted?
You know, I would say this is attraction is always gonna be a factor. You know,
Yes.
let's not get it twisted.
Yes.
Attraction is gonna always be a factor. But I have found that when you do meet a person that has those natures that you're supposed to be with in life, a lot of those requirements, a lot of those, you know, things that you like to start to shed off, you know, because this person, you'll start to see this person in a different light, you know, because it's all about, you know, the behaviors, you know, like this person's treating you, you know, like you like to be treated, and you know, you start seeing them different. You know, motherfuckers might see, oh, this motherfucker's ugly as hell. This
That's my
motherfucker
baby.
treat me. Yeah, this motherfucker treat me like gold. Fuck that. Now, you know, now there's gonna be some, you know, thresholds that you just can't cross. You know, like for me, you know, I you know, quite naturally, I go to the gym.
Right.
I've been in the 20 something. I'm not saying you gotta look like me. I'm not saying you gotta have abs and all that shit, but you just can't be, you know,
just
chubby.
totally unhealthy.
I'm not into I'm just not into chubby dudes. You know, you know, it's not anything against men that, you know, are chubby. You should be proud of who you are. You know, if you don't like being chubby, if you find it offensive, then obviously you have a problem with it, and you should fix it. And you can fix it. You know, you can hit me up, and I can help you fix it. But no, attraction always plays a factor, but it won't be as an important factor if the person has these behaviors that complement your behaviors. Now, if the person just isn't attractive, you move on. I mean, because I remember specifically one day I was talking to a young lady at work about this same subject, and I was telling her who she needed to be with, and so she asked me. She says, "Oh, we're based on, you know, your natures. Who are you supposed to be with?" And before I could say it, this guy comes up and he's standing in front of us, and he interjects himself into the conversation. And so as I'm getting ready to answer the question, I said, watch, I bet you this motherfucker is going to have the exact natures that I'm going to say right now. And so I said, well, you know, based on my natures, I'm supposed to be with a man that has a mother that's a Pisces, and he needs to be born a Virgo. And then he says, oh, that's me. My mom is a Pisces, and I'm born a Virgo. And so I'm thinking, great. because I'm not attracted to this guy at all. Period. No way, shape, form. And it was like, oh, that's great, man. That's what's up. Dap. And I kept it moving. I kept it moving.
Does outside of attraction, does age also is a factor too? Like if you feel like they have the matchup, but you're an older guy, more established wisdom, this person is maybe 25, 26.
That's only, well, that only goes to like a preference. Like me, I if I met a man that fit those natures and he was like 50, I probably would decline because I prefer a younger man. I prefer younger men. You're gonna always have these things, these requirements that these thresholds that you can't cross. But I'm just gonna say this: when you get in the presence of that energy in that person, a lot of the things that start to shed off. And,
change.
And it really depends on how much you expose yourself to this person. And
true.
chances are this person, you may actually fall in love with this person, and they may be the complete opposite. Because I'm telling you, when you like a motherfucker and you really like him, you be like, you know what? I think
bending rules.
he got a little tummy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably could work with that,
Yeah.
So, this can transcend looks.
Yeah.
But honestly, when I meet a person these days, I want to know what your nature is. I want to know what your nature is before I even know your name. And I really want to know what your mama is. That's what I really want to know, but I find myself like skirting around the question.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. And you're in Cleveland?
Yeah, I moved to Cleveland.
Oh, you moved. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk soon. I definitely sent you a message already, but I'm glad we had this in person or virtual conversation.
Yes.
I got to go to a rehearsal now. I'm actually about to be late, but this was interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Be safe. Hold it down.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right. That was great. So, hey, we had our first live guest. I think that was a beautiful, conversation. I'm going to get ready to go because I got stuff I probably need to do. I got to check. But I will be back. I'll be doing more of these sessions. If you have any questions, DM me at IamTony215. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at IamTony215. And please don't forget to stop by www.thebirthdaystoreatl.com. That's my website. And pick up some birthday gear, to celebrate your birthday, to help people know that in life. So, buy a shirt, buy some leggings, that say Scorpio, buy a sweatshirt, a hoodie, a bag, a pillow, it's all there. But until then, people, I love you. Until the next session, I have to get a schedule together. Maybe I'll do it on the weekends. Maybe I'll do that. But until then, people, I love you. Thanks so much for watching, and peace.